If you're having anxiety about something and you just wish you felt calm, then the word for you would be calm or peace. If you feel lethargic or overwhelmed, maybe the word would be clarity or energy. Or maybe you're seeking love.
The battle with alcohol, suicidal depression, and food addiction led to sheer desperation for Dina Proctor. Learning and teaching the practice of meditation brought her from what she describes as from hell to happy.
And I invite you to get in touch with an emotion or a state of being that you most wish you were feeling right now. At the end of 2008, I hit my rock bottom point in my life. I had spent years trying to overcome major depressive disorder. I was clinically depressed for over a decade, and I was horrifically addicted to alcohol. I couldn't live with who I had become as an alcoholic, but I couldn't stop drinking either. And so I had planned a date to take my own life. And when I finally went to get help for my alcohol addiction, the first thing that I was told to do was to learn to meditate. And when the coach I was working with at the time told me to meditate, I remember looking at her like, what the heck is meditation supposed to do? Like, shouldn't I be writing letters and burning them or beating on pillows with baseball bats? It just didn't seem like any kind of a practical solution. But she was really good with me. She was very tough love. She didn't even blink when I balked at her suggestion. She just said, you know, your way doesn't seem to be working. Why don't you try mine?
Still withdrawing from alcohol addiction and nowhere else to turn for help, Proctor decided to give meditation a try. The goal was to sit for 20 minutes 3 times per day, but she could only accomplish that feat for a maximum of 3 minutes per sitting.
After about 8 weeks of this 3-minute here, 3-minute there thing, I had an experience in what I can only call a state of higher consciousness. I felt more peaceful, blissful, and deeply grounded and centered within my own being than I ever really thought possible on this earth. And if I had known that that level of happiness, depth, centeredness, and peace inside of my being was possible, I never would have drank as I did.
The root of her physical issues began what she describes as a privileged upbringing.
I would get really down on myself if I got 97 on a test instead of 100. I was very perfectionist. Everything always had to be a certain way in order for me to feel okay. And I think that that probably preceded the depression that I went into later in my life as a young adult, because I was just never happy or satisfied with the way anything was. It felt like there was always this craving or this neediness inside of me, whether it was emotional, whether it was about food. I did it with guys that I dated. I was so needy and clingy to them. I was always looking for something outside of myself to fix myself and into every dimension of your being.
Proctor fixed herself by using meditation, by creating the 3x3 method, 3 minutes at a time, 3 times per day, and her method has helped others.
I don't do 3 minutes 3 times a day, every single day. I might only do 6 minutes, you know, but it's all the passages and the quotes in there that resonate with me, and then how she would focus before something was taking place in her life. That, to get rid of the butterflies, to get rid of the anxiety, that I've been focusing on.
What's also so clear to me right now is that my normal way of living, using logic, reason, and willpower, is the hard way to go about it.
Proctor has turned her amazing transformation into a best-selling book, Madly Chasing Peace: How I Went From Hell to Happy in 9 minutes a day.
It's very important to know that I didn't intend to write a book. I took a writing class just as a hobby, and the way I felt when I was writing was a way that I've never felt when I was doing anything before, and I knew that there was something to it. I went on a retreat where I met Jack Canfield, who writes the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, and something told me to share my writing with him. And when he read it, he said, this is really raw and really compelling, and this 3x3 thing you're talking about can be really powerful for people. He said, have you thought about turning this into a book? And I remember looking at him like, so from him being able to see something in me that I wasn't even aware of, that him holding that space for me was what enabled me to eventually birth the book. Because when I wrote my book and it says hell to happy in 9 minutes a day, sounds a little bit like 4-minute abs. You know, it has this kind of like, is that even realistic? Like 9 minutes a day, how could that change anything? And so my message is that it's easier than you think to have that transformation, and it can be done in these short bursts several times a day. Is just completely letting go. You just kind of go by that gut instinct rather than the words that are always spinning in your head.
For more on Dina Proctor and her 3x3 meditation, go to dinaproctor.com. For Push Pause in Comac, This is Archie Snowden.
I'm Dina Proctor. I'm an author, and I coach people on mind-body connection.